ABC General Hospital Spoilers reveal that Tracy had seen a lot of crazy stuff in her life, probably more than anyone else could handle. But even she wasn't ready for the shock of hearing that Michael got arrested for shooting Drew. When she heard the news, it was like someone punched her in the gut, a sudden cold jolt that left her gasping for air. Michael, the only Quartermain Tracy truly trusted to carry on their family's name with strength and integrity. She'd watched him grow up, become a man who handled hardship with such resilience. Now he was being dragged through the mud, humiliated, accused of something she knew beyond a shadow of a doubt he simply didn't do. She felt the anger flare up inside her, and it just got bigger too fast to hold back. That wasn't just anger from Tracy. It was a deep protective fear that she alone had. It was the kind of feeling that had taken down CEOs, outsmarted enemies, and utterly destroyed anyone dumb enough to threaten her family. Once the initial shock wore off, Tracy's mind started connecting the dots, confirming what she'd already been thinking. There was only one person clever enough, sneaky enough, and self-centered enough to pin things on Michael Willow. Tracy had put up with Willow for way too long, much longer than she ever intended, really. She felt stuck having to be polite for family harmony, but she never did trust her. So there Michael was at the police station getting the criminal treatment on Valentine's Day. Tracy just knew her gut feeling had been right from the start. Willow was truly dangerous, the type that spoke gently, acted like the victim, and quietly ruined lives while pretending she had nothing to do with it. Tracy got right to it. As soon as she caught her breath, her mind was racing, fully intending to dig into every dark corner of Willow's recent actions. She remembered that missing key and all the suspicious stuff. And Willow, she always seemed way too eager, like she was calculating every move in those custody talks. Then it all just clicked. Willow set Michael up, but just knowing it wasn't enough, Tracy needed proof, something solid and clear, and she was going to keep going until she found it. Her first mission was simple: find Willow. Tell her. You just had to get the truth out of her no matter what. Tracy really stirred things up in the Quartermain mansion. Just like a big storm brewing that everyone in Port Charles knew meant trouble. Tracy's loyalty was something else. It was so strong it almost felt like an obsession, but that's just how she was. Family wasn't just a big deal to her, it was absolutely everything. If anyone messed with her family, anyone who even thought about hurting someone she cared about, they were done for. But Willow had a knack for expecting absolute mayhem. She always saw it coming. The second Michael got arrested, she just disappeared like a shadow melting into the background. Tracy's anger didn't just get worse. It turned into a cold, deadly feeling inside her. Willow running, yeah, that just made her look guilty. Tracy just knew Willow would come up with a million excuses if she was called out, misunderstandings, stress, being played. But it wouldn't change a thing. Tracy already knew what she had to do. She was going to expose Willow, clear Michael's name, and get back the Quartermain dignity Willow had tried to destroy. As Tracy dug deeper, Willow felt the heat turning up in ways she never imagined. Folks talked. My friends started pulling away. The people who used to be on her side backed off, feeling wary and weirded out. Willow felt the walls closing in. And it wasn't the police. They were either too clueless or blind to what was really going on. No, it was Tracy she was worried about. And Tracy was a lot scarier than any cop at PCPD. Tracy didn't need a badge. Tracy just went ahead. She didn't wait for anyone to tell her it was okay. Tracy just needed a reason to act, and keeping Michael safe was all the reason she needed to set everything in motion. Meanwhile, Michael sat arrested, trying to grasp the horrible situation happening all around him. He really thought things would always work out fairly, that the truth mattered, and that justice, slow as it might be, would end up in the right place. But Tracy knew better. Tracy knew justice wasn't something you were just handed. You had to go out and get it yourself. And she'd gladly take it back from Michael with her bare hands if that's what it took. As Tracy kept digging, things really started to make sense. The key that got swiped, Willow just changed all of a sudden. They planted the evidence. The timing was quite something. Why? Tracy felt things click into place, a dark feeling building up inside her. She was all set to share what she found, whether it was with PCPD, the district attorney, the press, or anyone else who dared try to stop her. A strong feeling of resolve just settled right in her chest. She was going to clear Michael's name. She was going to take apart Willow's lies piece by piece. She was going to bring back the Quartermain honor that Willow had just spit on with her selfish ambition. When the truth eventually spilled out, Michael would be a free man. Willow's plans would fall apart completely once Tracy got really angry. Everyone would talk about one thing: never cross a Quartermain. And never ever cross Tracy. Once Tracy got mad, the whole city just seemed to change around her. Port Charles had seen her mad plenty of times, but this was different. This rage came from knowing someone had purposely ruined the life of a guy she loved like family. So, with Michael stuck in jail for something he absolutely didn't do, Tracy really focused all her energy on Willow, the woman she was convinced was behind it all. Willow was really good at using legal tricks and the double jeopardy rule to her advantage. which Tracy knew meant the courts couldn't do a thing. Tracy just didn't care about what the courts could or couldn't do. Tracy's life had been a wild ride. She'd made it through corporate fights that lasted for years, messy legal cases, family drama, and even some close calls that could have ended it all. She really got power more than anyone else in town, and she knew just what to do with it. The minute she walked into PCPD, you could feel the air get thick with tension. Tracy kept her voice down. There was no need to yell. Every word she said really mattered. Her reputation, her sway, the way she could end someone's career just by making one phone call. She didn't ask nicely, she demanded action. It wasn't about requests or even suggestions. It was all about orders. Just dressed up to look like she cared about the city. She zeroed in on what didn't add up, pushing for Willow's fingerprints to be looked into. She also really wanted to know what Martin had to do with it all. Then she put together a timeline that was so on point and made even the seasoned detectives feel put on the spot. Tracy wasn't just asking PCPD to think about Willow differently, she was making them do it. PCPD, a department known for messing things up and embarrassing itself, was stuck. They had public anger to deal with Tracy's fury and the very real chance they'd cuffed the wrong individual. But Tracy didn't stop there. She really worked her connections on the city council, leaning on her influence with those rich donors, and could even get journalists on her side with just a quiet word. In just a few hours, things started to change. The headlines really made people wonder if Willow set Michael up. Talk shows really got into why she did it. Reporters just waited around outside the courthouse. There were a lot of angry posts on social media. Things got so heated so fast that even the police chief started to feel like he was losing his grip. The whole time, Willow just felt this danger creeping closer. It wasn't about the law, though. It was Tracy's kind of danger. Even though they couldn't charge Tracy again for shooting Drew, she was dead set on finding some other crime. Another weakness, another way to expose her. The city felt electrified, unstable. Like every secret Willow thought she'd buried was suddenly glowing under a spotlight she couldn't escape. Martin wouldn't pick up her calls. Her friends who had been there for her before started to pull away. Even folks from the Corinthos and Quartermain families who are pretty used to crazy stuff gave Willow some serious side-eye. And Michael getting arrested just made everything worse. Tracy just kept pushing, and it was so much that Willow or anyone really couldn't keep up. The more Tracy dug into PCPD, the more stressed out the department got. Detectives scrambled to re-examine evidence. The officers were whispering anxiously in the hallways. The bosses weren't sure if Tracy was really messing with things politically. But Tracy didn't care. She wanted justice for Michael and wouldn't quit until Willow got what was coming to her, legally or not. Each time, things got more intense. It just showed everyone how nobody could stop Tracy once she truly felt she was in the right. And then everything just went crazy. For the first time, the chaos wasn't just about Willow or Michael. It spread all over Port Charles. Like a crack in the foundation. The families had a disagreement. The teams changed. Things got a bit heated between the departments. The police department was caught between doing things by the book and giving in to Tracy's demands. This caused a lot of friction inside and almost turned into a huge mess. And Willow, feeling all alone and getting more and more desperate, started to understand something big. Her fight wasn't just with the law anymore. She was up against Tracy, the kind of person who could twist the whole city to do what she wanted. This whole thing wasn't just about Michael getting arrested anymore. It turned into a political fight, a massive social upheaval, a battle for power that could shatter all the delicate limits in Port Charles. Tracy's anger was so out of control it felt like nothing could stop it, and everyone was scared of what she'd do. Tracy went outside the system to get justice. She turned into the system. So with things really picking up speed and all the big city places feeling the squeeze, Port Charles was right on the verge of another mess. This one wasn't from bad guys though. It was all because of a really mad woman set on fixing what she thought was a terrible mistake. A new storm had begun, and Willow stood right in its path. You know, Tracy was always a whirlwind, but the minute she decided to take down Willow, her power really changed into something else entirely. It simply became unstoppable. She started out quietly, just pulling together the facts, collecting what people said, and sorting through the lies Willow had spun so convincingly. When Tracy hit back, she did it like only a Quartermain matriarch would, out in the open with a clear plan, and totally sure she'd come out on top. And she did. Despite everything, all the legal problems, even rules about double jeopardy, Tracy really pushed the system. She got them to look at it differently, focusing on fraud, tampering, messing with an investigation, and stopping justice. Willow had some crimes she just couldn't get around, but there were crimes she just couldn't hide from. Crimes that seemed to cling to her, like chains you couldn't shake off. It wasn't just about Drew's shooting anymore. It was all about the sneaky stuff Willow got up to later. The key was planted. They lied to the authorities. Someone made up those stories, messing with the evidence. Tracy took everything and wove it into a really powerful legal story. When the judge finally handed down the outcome, Willow just stood there pale and quiet. As the verdict came echoing back guilty, everyone in the courtroom felt a jolt. Willow had been untouchable for ages. Excuses kept her safe, sympathy was like a shield. And she always seemed so delicate that she never had to face what her ambition caused. Tracy, though, pulled the rug out from under everyone right there for the whole city to see. And when the cop stepped up to arrest Willow, that's when it really hit her. For the first time, she was completely powerless. Tracy didn't seem to be celebrating. Instead, she looked really determined, like she was set in stone. She wasn't fighting this war for revenge. She was fighting it for Michael. The city finally got it. Tracy would go to extreme lengths for the people she cared about. But Tracy's win didn't stop with Willow losing. While taking apart Willow's plans, she stumbled upon something worse. A betrayal involving money, tricks, and broken contracts with Drew's estate. Quartermain stuff. Willow didn't just mess with the evidence. She was also messing with the family's legal stuff. Pretending to help Drew while he was recovering and making business choices. With Drew out of commission and completely swamped by medical and legal issues, Willow got way more access and trust than she should have. Tracy fixed that error right away, no hesitation. She went to court, grabbed all the papers, took away Willow's rights to anything Drew related, and gave control back to the Quartermains. That move really changed things in the Port Charles business scene. Just like Willow's arrest completely upended the social one. Tracy found herself right in the middle of a mess, and she knew she had nobody but herself to blame. The Quartermain empire was slowly but surely falling back into her hands. The legal system just couldn't stand up to her, and everyone in the city was watching, partly in awe, partly terrified. Port Charles had its share of dangerous guys come and go, but Tracy, the new Tracy, she was a whole different story. She'd been brushed aside for so long, but now with nothing holding her back. Everyone was seeing just how much damage she could do. When it was all over, the people who knew Tracy best started to notice something strange. The war had gone way beyond what Tracy ever thought it would. She didn't just win, she took things to a whole new level. She had really changed the city's political vibe. Her words now felt like laws, and all her rivals knew one wrong move could mean the end for them. This was just the start of Willow's time in prison. Tracy's moves really shook things up for PCPD and the courthouse. And wow, did EOQ feel it too, along with the Corinthos family. Even what was left of Drew's world got completely fractured by her. Even though Michael was relieved to be cleared, he just couldn't shake off this weird feeling. Tracy had saved him, but she also started a war that no one knew how to end. Drew was still getting back on his feet, and he just couldn't believe how fast Tracy took over everything he had. Carly got a bad feeling about Tracy getting more and more bossy. Even Sonny was careful since he understood that when anyone got too much sway in Port Charles, things always got messy. Tracy really messed things up. Tracy wasn't just looking out for her family anymore. For the first time in ages, she was actually changing how power worked in the whole city. Willow getting arrested kicked things off, but Tracy had a much grander goal in mind, something she truly believed she was meant to go after. She was fighting to get back everything that belonged to the Quartermains. Every bit of their sway that had slipped away, and every bad thing that had been done to her family. The city stirred something powerful. Now that Tracy was awake, really mad, and ready to go, Port Charles was going to see just how bad things could get. When getting even replaced, simply getting justice and one woman's firm resolve pushed everything over the edge. There was no turning back.